Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Sidekick, Showdown. The city was in chaos. A giant imaginary friend stomped through the streets. "Don't panic," Frankie yelled. "It's perfectly harmless." But the Extremosaurus didn't seem to know that. It charged at Mac. Its big mouth opened wide. When an imaginary superhero swooped down from the sky, he scooped up Mac and saved him from the beast. Imaginary Man blasted the Extremosaurus with his orange soda soaker. He pounded it with a giant paddle ball. The city was saved. Imaginary Man helped Frankie take the Extremosaurus back to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. "Imaginary Man, thank you for saving my life today. You're awesome," Mac said. "Awesome-rific," the hero corrected Mac. "Want to take a ride in my awesome-rific supersonic sidecar?" Blue scowled. "We're supposed to be working on our treehouse." The next day, Blue and Mac went to the store to get supplies for their treehouse. Suddenly, an imaginary friend with pink hair robbed the hardware store. "That's Nemesis!" Mac cried. "Imaginary Man's archenemy." Mac contacted Imaginary Man on his communicator. Mac and Imaginary Man found Nemesis downtown. She had prettied up the whole place with ribbons and scented candles. "I will give the whole world a makeover, and everything will be beautiful," Nemesis laughed. "You fiend!" Imaginary Man yelled. Sploosh! Imaginary Man doused Nemesis with his orange soda soaker. Nemesis pelted Imaginary Man with flowers. He screamed. "Flowers are Imaginary Man's kryptonite," said Mac, worried. "They're sucking away his powers." Mac jumped in front of Imaginary Man. He protected the hero from the flowers. Imaginary Man was impressed. "Mac, will you be my sidekick?" he asked. "Yes! Yes, I'll be your sidekick," Mac replied. Blue looked on in horror. He was losing his best friend to a sappy superhero. The next day, Blue was happy to see that the treehouse was finished, until he saw that Mac and Imaginary Man were using it as their headquarters. "I figured out that Nemesis's hairdo is the source of all her powers," Mac said, "and I think I know where she's getting it fixed." "Good work, Mac Attack," Imaginary Man said. Blue sat down at the breakfast table, feeling sad. Then he got an idea. "I know how to get Mac back," he cried. He tied the tablecloth around his neck. "I'll become the greatest superhero in the world has ever known." Mac and Imaginary Man sped to the Salon de Cissé. They found Nemesis getting her hair done. Mac quickly destroyed all of the flowers in sight. Then Imaginary Man belched on Nemesis's hair. It looked like she was defeated for good when... "The Azure Avenger is here!" Blue cried. But Blue's tablecloth cape still had all the breakfast stuff on it. A vase of flowers fell from his cape and onto Imaginary Man's face. "Ah! Petunias!" the hero screamed. Nemesis got away again. Mac and Imaginary Man left Blue on the floor of the salon. Nemesis appeared behind him. "You want revenge, don't you?" she asked. "Then join me." Hours later, in the dark of night, Blue's transformation was complete. "Lord Uniscorn, rise!" Nemesis commanded. The battle between Imaginary Man and Mac Attack and Nemesis and Lord Uniscorn began. Nemesis and Uniscorn replaced a football team's uniforms with prom dresses. They switched monster fuel truck with perfume. They even gave a makeover to a rock band. But no matter what they did, everyone cheered for Imaginary Man and Mac Attack. Lord Uniscorn was disgusted. "No more cute," he screamed at Nemesis. "I will no longer accept the plans that you plan. From now on, we go forward with the plans that I plan, and the ones that I plan on planning." "Fine," Nemesis said. "So what's your stupid plan?" The next day, Imaginary Man flew toward Mac's school. 3 o'clock, time for the daily patrol," he said cheerfully, but Mac was nowhere to be found. Imaginary Man zoomed toward Foster's home and saw that the place was painted pink. Imaginary Man found Mac in the laundry room tied to a chair. "It's a trap," Mac warned, but he was too late. The laundry chute above them burst open. A mountain of flowers fell on Imaginary Man. "No!" Mac cried. Lord Uniscorn entered. "It is I who will be your best friend now that imaginary fool is gone forever," the villain cackled. "I will never be your best friend," Mac yelled. "But Mac, I am your father," Lord Uniscorn said. "What?" asked Mac. "Ah!" Lord Uniscorn fell to the floor as one of Nemesis's rainbow rays blasted him in the back. His mask fell off. "Blue?" Mac exclaimed. "How dare you turn on me, Uniscorn?" Nemesis wailed. "I who created you. I who befriended you. Plus, I thought we had something special." Nemesis showered Blue with flowers. "Oh no! My allergies!" he cried. Mac jumped in front of Blue to protect him. Blue bounced on Mac's head. He hurtled toward Nemesis, and then he yanked her hair. Imaginary Man pushed through the flowers. "Nobody pulls my Nemesis-sister's hair but me," he yelled. Mac and Blue looked at each other in shock. "Nemesis-sister?" Mr. Harriman helped figure out the mystery. Years ago, a boy had imagined Imaginary Man. His sister had imagined Nemesis just to bug him. The brother and sister were all grown up now, but they thought the Imaginary Man and Nemesis would be perfect imaginary friends for their kids, so they decided to adopt this superhero and his archenemy. "So once again, the day is saved. Right, Sidekick?" said Blue. "Sidekick? I'm not your sidekick. You're my sidekick," Mac protested. Blue made a face. "You wish." The end.